Hello everyone and welcome back to another reaction video. And this time we're going to be continuing our reaction, our journey to the Invincible versus Everyone by Rouga. And today this is going to be a very good one and very, I would say, special, I guess, but I just feel like it's cool. It will be, would the DCAU Earth survive a Viltrumite invasion? Now, as I mentioned a few days ago when I was discussing about Invincible, I said it was probably my top superhero films. My top five are My Hero Academia. Then it is DCAU. Then it is I think what was Avengers Mightiest Heroes. And then we have, what else do we have? It's been a long time. What is it? Oh, Power Rangers, yeah. And finally, it is what was the last one? Whatever. Those were my top five. And today we're gonna be, reacting to this. What if we have the entire Viltrumite going up against the DCAU? Now, if you watch the DCAU, you'll probably know the answer. I already know my answer. But if you guys enjoyed this video, hit all those little buttons down below. I will leave an original video in the link in the description down below with Rouga himself in the description as well. And without further ado, let's do it.
Hello everyone, how are you doing this fine day? Hope you're enjoying your week. Welcome
I
to our
am.
survival challenge. In today's video, we are going to be taking the Invincible invasion because of course we are. Invincible's airing right now. What else are we gonna do? It's not like we can make videos that aren't invincible right now. This is just it's an Invincible channel. We just have to accept that. That's what we are. No more Helldivers video. Never gonna be another Helldivers video. It's just all Invincible all day long till we all die at the end of the heat death of the universe. That's cool with you guys, right? That's cool. And we're gonna aim them in the direction of the DC animated universe Earth. Now I want to clarify here. This is the DCAU, not the DC animated movie universe. I know it's fucking confusing, but no, this is DCAU. This is Batman the anime series, Superman the anime series, Justice League Unlimited, and any movies that just so happen to be tied to that universe. This isn't a Tomorrowverse, and it's not any of the other numerable fucking animated DC universes. This is one very specific universe that for some reason they stopped making stuff for, even though it's the best one they've literally ever had.
Well, yeah, it really was.
Had a DCAU movie since 2019. Why?
Really?
They're good. I understand Kevin Conroy's not with us anymore. That doesn't mean you shut down the whole fucking thing. This is the best shit y'all ever did. Keep doing it. Another clarification we need to make before we get started is that yes, this is the DCAU Earth. It's not the DCAU universe. So
I mean, the title really explained it.
Earth. Interdimensional beings and fucking all these characters that are not specifically on Earth and do shit on Earth. So don't start pulling characters from all over the fucking universe and start throwing in here. If they're not there, then they're irrelevant. You can't use them. Don't start pulling a bunch of shit that happens in comic books and stuff if the character doesn't actually do it in the show. I am aware that in the comics, Dr. Light is this crazy star exploding being. In the show, she's got like 5 appearances in the whole show. She doesn't do anything important at any point in time. So
I mean, it's basically like Smash Brothers. Everyone's here.
Show, see what they can do here. Also, I am making this video with the assumption that you have seen my previous Invincible related videos, and you already know more or less where I stand on Invincible and the Viltrumites, how strong the Viltrumites are, and all that kind of stuff. If you haven't seen those videos, here's a link to them. Go check them out. But I'm not really going to be diving into just how exactly strong these characters are or anything like that in this video, because I've done it already. Cool?
Okay.
Got all that? Alright, let's get started.
Here we go, brother.
Okay, so first things first, step 1 of the Viltrumite invasion is obviously getting Omni-Man, because why would you do it with any other Viltrumites? Just, it's always going to be Omni-Man. And you take Omni-Man and you throw him at that Earth. You're like, hey, go over there, tell him you're a hero, and just, like, chill there for 20 years, raise a kid, see if they're compatible with our DNA, so we can fuck all their women, and then rebuild the Viltrumites. And you just gotta, like, pretend to be a good dude. And weaken their planet, too. That's very important. You have to weaken their planet, fuck them all up, so that when the invasion comes, they will not be prepared for our arrival. Will that be able to work? in DCAU. How
No.
successful will Omni-Man be at actually doing that? He will not be at all. And
No,
people
he
might
will
think that
not.
I'm being like, well, what are you talking about? When you were talking about Marvel Earth and you put the whole Viltrumite invasion
Oh,
at
shit.
Marvel Earth, you said that they wouldn't be able to find him, even though they have psychics and ghosts.
Damn, I should have been watching that. Or maybe because I'm just biased on Marvel comics. I don't know.
They could see into his soul and all this other crazy
Considering
stuff.
they're pretty
specifically
shitty
said
on
Marvel
selling
couldn't do it.
comics.
So now you're saying the DC animated universe can do it? How the fuck does that make sense? The reason why Marvel would have a hard time in actually sniffing out that Omni-Man is a villain and the DCAU wouldn't is because it's happened in Marvel so many fucking times, and they
It has.
never once been
A
able
lot
to
of
sniff this
times.
shit out before it actually happened. Like, so many times. Yeah, I can use examples like the Skrulls, but that's a bit of a cheat because the Skrulls have plot armor. Psychics don't work against them. You can't see
As
their
everyone
mind. So
does.
let's use someone who doesn't have plot armor. Marvel, for instance. A lot of people say that Omni-Man is a ripoff of Superman, and I guess design-wise and power-wise, he kind of is. But in terms of story-wise, he's way closer to a ripoff of Marvel, who was a spy for the Kree that was sent to Marvel's Earth in order to get close to them and
really?
prepare the Earth for a Kree invasion. Sound fucking familiar? Yeah, because it is. Guess who was able to figure out that Marvel was doing this? Fucking nobody. He had a change of heart and told them all. Nobody was able to figure it out. I mentioned this in a previous video, but after World War Hulk, when Hulk invaded Earth with an army of Sicarians, and then the war was over, Marvel's Earth never got Ghost Rider or a bunch of psychics up and was like, hey, read these people's minds to see if they have bad intentions towards Earth. That never happened because it's something that they just straight up don't fucking do ever at any point. Do you have any idea how many fucking evil spies could be living on Earth at any given time because they just don't do what they need to do to stop this?
I think recently they've been using that a lot of times. I remember Fall of X, where there was this chick who has a mutant ability where she could die and restart. Like, that was her ability. Every time she dies, she will literally become an isekai, immortal being, and just come back to life. Remember everything from that specific timeline, and see if she will be able to, change things. And then her main goal was that, the whole, Kokora, I think that's what you call it, Corona, whatever that Corona, but the island of the X-Men, or basically the nation, it wasn't just a paradise for mutants. It was a way for the mutants will lose their uh X gene so that they will be, accepted to society, because the X-Men has always been in the losing side of human society. So what this chick believe is, by every time an X-Men died and be resurrected by all this fucking bullshit, it will remove their X gene, and they will finally be accepted to society, which is damn, that shit is just fucking evil as fuck, and really pulls away of the idea of the X-Men to finally have a utopia. But yeah, like Ruka said, there's a lot of spies.
From happening. Marvel's Earth just isn't set up in a way that makes them good at doing something like this. DC is. For one, all of the heroes in DCAU all work for them, not all of them, but a very large portion of them all work for the same fucking team, the Justice League. I don't know if we ever get an exact count of how many Justice Leaguers there are.
Damn,
in the series,
look at
but
that.
it appears to be bare minimum hundreds. They also have constant and full surveillance of the entire planet when anything goes wrong. On top of having the world's greatest detective, Batman, who has a plan just in case any hero on all of Earth decides to betray the planet or turn against the Justice League. He's got a plan for all of them, as well as Superman, who has been shown...
Well, he does need to focus. He used his hearing to detect crime across the planet throughout the series. Okay.
The DCAU to be able to hear everything across the whole planet at the same time. This will be very, very very difficult for Omni-Man to get away with being a fucking bad guy and weakening the planet without him eventually being found out way sooner than the 20 years that he would actually need in order to take over the planet. Like, way sooner. What exactly do you think is going to happen when Omni-Man tries his, like, big plan of wiping out the Justice League to the Justice League? You think it's going to work?
He's gonna get jumped. That's what's gonna happen.
He just locks him in a room and he's just like, okay, now I'm just going to kill you all and you're all going to stand here. No one's going to try and leave. There's no communication outside of this room. I'm just going to fucking duke it out with all of you and I'll win. And then when I'm covered in blood and I'm fucking knocked out, they're just not going to know it was me. Or they will know it was me, but they won't do anything about it. Like, really? You really think that's what's gonna happen? They have fucking beaming technology, guys. The Watchtower could literally teleport anyone on Earth to any other location.
That is true.
On Earth that they want.
Which, by the way, where the fuck was that for, the Guardians of the Globe? We know that they work for Cecil. So why hasn't Cecil thought of, hey, here's this technology that you can teleport everywhere. I want you to, use it, Why could you just do that? It would have been so much useful to, save your energy, to fight some bad guys, but hey, I'll make a quick exit.
They have constant surveillance of the planet at all times. How is Omni-Man gonna call 7 fucking Justice Leaguers to one location and no one else is gonna know? The Watchtower's not gonna know that it's kind of weird that 7 of their fucking Leaguers or 5 of their Leaguers went to one location and then all just happened to fucking die brutally. Like, they're gonna instantly know it was Omni-Man. Omni-Man's gonna have to go about it a totally different way than he would normally.
And plus, this is not just Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Green Lantern, Hawker, and more. There is like a shit ton of heroes like in the Justice League. So how is it that Omni-Man is gonna, go, after one of these guys? And plus, if he does go after the weak link, then then the heavy hitters will be will know that, okay, this is weird. Why are these characters specifically going to this location? Like, why is that? So they will be immediately sussed out to why that is. And it just, they're very, very good at their defenses, but I will later talk about that. I think Rouga is gonna explain that their defenses is very, very OP.
He's going to have to do it a lot slower, a lot more methodical, and it really doesn't matter how slow or methodically he does it, because again, constant planetary surveillance, Superman can hear literally everything, and they have fucking Batman. You think Batman is going to take longer to figure out it was Omni-Man than Damian Darkblood? No. Chances are he's going to learn about the whole Omni-Man plan before the Omni-Man plan even happens. That's not even bringing up the fact that they have multiple Green Lanterns on Earth. Bare minimum, there's 3 Green Lanterns, and every Green Lantern has
Hal Jordan, Kyle
on their finger that knows about everything that goes on in the entire universe.
I forgot.
If you look at Earth in Marvel Comics, the vast majority of people on Earth are completely unaware of anything that happens outside of their solar system. They're not aware of planets all across the universe. They're not aware of alien races unless those alien races specifically attack them, right? Marvel's Earth didn't know about the Kree until the Kree made themselves Earth's problem. Same with the Skrulls, same with the Sicarians, same with all these fucking people. That's not the case for the DCAU. As long as one Green Lantern, Oa, or the Guardians of Oa have come across a specific species or faction or criminal or whatever, all the Green Lanterns are going to have that information in their ring available to them. If Omni-Man shows up, he's like, hi everybody, I'm a Viltrumite, I'm here to help your planet, which is exactly what he fucking does in the series.
Oh yeah, he basically does.
From and everything, and he's entirely reliant on the fact that Earth doesn't know who the fuck Viltrumites are. If he does that, any Green Lantern on the planet could be like, hey, what's a Viltrumite? And their ring will be like, oh, they're fucking awful. They're a planet
yeah.
Pieces of shit.
Yeah, I remember that scene from Justice League War where Hal Jordan, tell his ring, hey, what is that? And the ring couldn't identify it because it's not from the universe. It's from another universe, from Apocalypse. It was a mother box, and the ring didn't know what the fuck is a mother box because, Apocalypse is from a separate universe, so the Guardians will not know what the fuck those things are, but they will know what a Viltrumite is because a Viltrumite is basically evil, Saiyans, Kryptonians, some shit like that, and they will be self-aware on who they are. I mean, the Martians from season 1 knew what the fuck a Viltrumite are. So yeah, it's not gonna be that high of a statement that the lanterns will tell the wielder what a Viltrumite is, and they're gonna be like, oh shit, this guy needs to be put in bars.
Fascist, this is terrible. And he's like, oh, okay, fuck that guy. He's been lying to us this whole time. Kill him. Like that's
Know
just
that.
how it's gonna go. Marvel's Earth in the comics doesn't have anything like this. They're not as well connected as DCAU. I'm not trying to make this a Marvel versus DC thing because at the end of the day, I think they're both the same fucking thing. They all share the same.
Oh yeah,
writers,
they're the same
both
thing.
universes have all the same rules. They're all just as shitty when it comes to the comics. But if we're talking about specifically the DCAU compared to Marvel Comics, the DCAU is just way better set up for dealing with something like Omni-Man. But Rouga, you might be saying, what about the Thanagaran invasion? Isn't that exactly what the whole Omni-Man situation was? In case you haven't seen Justice League, at the end of season
I
2,
remember
there's
that
this whole
scene.
storyline where Hawkgirl,
That
a
shit
member of
was
Justice League, is
crazy.
revealed to be a spy sent to the world by the Thanagarians to prepare it for their invasion. Basically, the exact same storyline that Omni-Man has. Again, the Omni-Man storyline is not the most unique thing ever. We've seen it many, many, many times in comics. I can see people making the argument that, hey, if Hawkgirl could do it and she could spy on the Justice League and no one found out, none of that shit I just said happens to her, why is it that Omni-Man couldn't do basically the exact same thing? And while I do understand the gist of that argument, I think it's pretty flawed because it assumes that the DCAU is the same in every season and every episode and that it's a completely static universe that never evolves. And that's not true. The world of the DCAU at the end of Justice League Unlimited is very different than the one in season 2 of Justice League.
Oh
There's
yes,
a 3-season gap in between those.
which I really like. After every aftermath, they changed, they developed not just the heroes, but everyone in society, which is cool. And it's weird that Invincible doesn't, considering about the shit ton of invasions and whatnot.
Time periods. And a lot of shit happened in that time to prepare Earth for that same thing not happening again. By the end of Justice League Unlimited, both the Justice League and Earth are significantly better set up to deal with this kind of situation. During the Thanagar invasion, Justice League is only 7 members, technically 6 once Hawkgirl leaves. After that, the Justice League realize just how underpowered they are, and they start a mass recruiting campaign going from 6 members to hundreds upon hundreds. The Watchtower gets massively upgraded to now being capable of spying and keeping track of everything that happens on Earth. It gets teleporters that is capable of just teleporting anyone from Earth to the Watchtower or on Earth to another location on Earth. They just have a much better ability to keep track of everything that happens on Earth at any given time than they do before the Thanagar invasion happens. Not only that, but Earth also kicks it into high gear, and Earth's government start upgrading tremendously, creating all sorts of different programs, specifically
Especially Cadmus, which I will get into it later because I think Ruga is 100% gonna talk about it.
Cadmus, that was designed
Oh,
with the
there
sole
it is.
purpose to prepare Earth from an attack from metahumans, which are humans with superpowers, as well as alien invasions. You have to remember, by the time you get to the end of Justice League Unlimited, Earth has dealt with a Superman turning
Also, 3 separate Darkseid invasions, 2 Brainiac planetary destruction plots, an Imperium alien invasion, and countless metahuman apocalypse scenarios.
evil by being brainwashed by Darkseid and attacking the planets, the Thanagarian invasion, as well as the discovery of the Justice Lords, which was a storyline in another universe where the Justice
That
League,
shit
when
was
it just
awesome.
had 7 members,
That was a
turned
cool-ass
on
story.
planet Earth and was easily able to control it and turn the entire planet into a massive authoritarian state, basically. This freaked Earth the fuck out, and they started building all sorts of different
Understandably.
shit, from technology to inventing their own superpowered beings and integrating all of this stuff into its planetary defense systems for the sole purpose to fight against the Justice League and other different superpowered beings that might come to Earth to fuck with it. The Justice Lord storyline happens around the same point the Thanagarian invasion does, and it's specifically stated in that storyline the Justice League, just 7 members, took over the planet with ease. By the end of Justice League Unlimited, it's stated stated that if the Justice League did turn on planet Earth, it would cause an Armageddon because Earth is actually capable of fighting back, and these two powers clashing together would just destroy the whole planet. It literally turns into an apocalyptic scenario at that point. You also have the fact that by that point in the storyline, the Earth governments are very anti-metahuman. They've been dealing with a lot of shit.
Yeah,
When new
they're
aliens come down to the
pretty
Earth, they don't
racist.
like it. They have a massive problem with it. Just because
You thought the X-Men had it bad. Oh boy, those poor metahumans.
the Thanagarian invasion and the Hawkgirl spy storyline worked in Season 2 of Justice League does not mean that a similar plot would be able to work in Season 3 of Justice League Unlimited. And when Omni-Man shows up and being like, hey, I'm here to help, with the sole goal to set the planet up for an invasion, Cadmus and the Justice League are both going to be very wary of this because it's already happened in the past and it's caused them to up their defenses against this very specific thing. Okay, Rouga, let's just give you the benefit of the doubt and say that all that's true. If it is, why didn't the Green Lantern John Stewart just talk to his ring like you said he can and ask them if the Thanagarians were bad guys? This would have solved their whole problem.
The implication Hawker was on Earth for just under 5 years, and 2 of them were spending as a member of the Justice League.
And he had several years to do it. And the answer to that is pretty simple. Even if he had done that, his ring wouldn't have told him that the Thanagarians were evil because they're not.
Yeah.
The Thanagarians weren't attacking Earth out of malicious intent. They did it out of desperation. Basically, to give you a quick rundown of the whole Thanagarian plot thing, the Thanagarians were at war with the Gordanians for a really long time, and the Gordanians were winning. They were wiping them out by the billions, and the Thanagarians didn't think that they were capable of actually winning the war. For years and years and years, the Thanagarian have been trying to invade the Gordanian homeworld, and hopefully by overthrowing the planet end the war. The problem is the Gordanians had a massive defense grid around their entire planet that the Thanagarians, no matter how many times they tried, could not break through, so they couldn't get to the planet. So they came up with a plan to create a subspace highway that would essentially teleport their entire fleet from Thanagar directly to the Gordanian homeworld and invade it without having to deal with the barricade at all. The fastest route that they found in order to do it went right through where Earth was. It specifically stated in the storyline that the other pathways would have taken them another 5 years to build. It would have been much longer, and tens of billions of Thanagarians would have died in the time it would have taken.
Which I really like. I really like how they bring these, like, people that at first you think they are malicious, but they're doing it for for a purpose. They're not doing it for malice, and that was a good point. If the ring would have tell his wielder that, hey, all these guys are bad, they said no, they're not bad. They're underdogs. They're trying to find a way to defeat their enemies, but every time they try, they failed like several times, and several times it's becoming worse and worse, and so they wish to find a solution. And if you take that and compare it to the Viltrumites makes them like very clear on their ideology, their cultural aspect, their fucking social hierarchy. They told you everything of that. And it is just so obvious that they're bad guys. They're not peacemakers, they're absolute monsters.
To build it. If the Thanagarians were successful in building a subspace highway, it would have completely destroyed Earth and killed these 7 billion or so people who were on the planet at the time. This show came out in the early 2000s, so it's a slightly less of a population than we have now. But they saw that as being a better alternative than the billions of their own people dying instead. The Thanagarians had never done anything like this. They had never just destroyed a planet with a bunch of people on it. No one really knew that the Thanagarians were capable of doing this. Even Hawkgirl didn't know why she was spying on the Earthlings, and when she found out that it was to destroy the planet to create this subspace highway, she was absolutely floored by it. She had no idea that people were capable of this either. This means that if John Stewart would have asked his ring what's going on,
John Stewart, that was his name. Oh my god, it's been a long time. I hate that Marvel doesn't use John Stewart like as a main character nowadays, dude. Wait, did I say Marvel Comics? My fucking dumbass. DC Comics.
they be trusted? His ring wouldn't have really told him anything negative because the Thanagarians weren't known as planetary conquerors or known to be dangerous or malicious in any
Yeah,
way. This is
but the Viltrumites, everyone knows about them.
The Viltrumites are known galaxy-wide as planet-conquering Nazis.
Yeah.
If Greenland had
Essentially, yeah.
Viltrumites, he would have gotten a very different answer than if he would have asked about the Thanagarians. He would essentially know immediately that the Viltrumites are bad guys. So that plan's gonna fall apart really fucking quick, way before he gets a chance to actually mate with any of the women. And that means he will never find out that that race is actually viable. From that point, Thrag has some fucking decisions to make. Does he want to go and invade a planet when he's not even sure that that planet has viable specimens with which to mate with? Kind of a weird way of putting it, but that's kind of what it is. Would he put that much
basically a
manpower
breeding
towards
farm.
going after that planet? I would assume probably not. That is if Omni-Man is even capable of reporting back, because...
Well, for me, I think he will, because if word would have got out that these species have all these unique abilities, he will 100% view that as a way to gather not just a population, but also gathering so much strength, because there's a lot of species in the DCAU, including the metahumans. I feel like Thrag will 100% see the metahumans as a valuable race to breed upon. So I feel like he's gonna go the evasion route and take over that planet. I feel like that he would do that because this guy is dedicated for the Viltrum Empire.
There's a good chance he'll be captured and thrown in a fucking Cadmus prison. So I guess we have to touch on whether or not the DCAU's Earth is even capable of taking on Omni-Man and actually imprisoning him before all that shit happens. And I think, I think it's very clear that they are. While Omni-Man is pretty strong, I'm not shitting on his strength or anything. He's a strong dude, okay? I want to make that clear. He's a very strong guy. I'm not going to sit here bitching about Invincible's lack of fucking consistency when it comes to their power levels, because in all honesty, the DCAU is just as inconsistent with their power levels, which actually brings up a good point that I made in a previous video where I said the problem with Invincible isn't the inconsistency of power levels, power scaling, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't think that's the issue.
Everyone
needs
to use some wood.
All around within its writing, from its character motivations to the way the inner logic of the universe.
Yeah, that is what I have issue with. Yeah, for me as well.
Really, nothing's consistent. The DCAU is a good example of what I'm talking about, where the power levels aren't consistent at all, but the storylines, the character writing, and everything else is. And the power levels doesn't really matter. Like, have you ever met anybody, if you watch DCAU, or if you know anyone who watches DCAU?
Oh no, and I think this is what people
have you ever seen a
like
video
miss
that
out.
And complains about the fucking shitty power levels? No, nobody fucking cares. Nobody gives a shit.
But I do remember several times where the characters that you thought are very OP always get their ass whooped. I feel like that happens in the Justice League Unlimited. But with the good story, good plot, good character growth, it's sort of like move that shit aside, which, hey, I mean, that's better.
There were a little bit of complaints when the show was airing that Superman would be shown to be too weak in certain episodes, but that was a massive, massive minority. It wasn't this big thing. It seems like every fucking Invincible video that comes out now is talking about how inconsistent the power levels are. Again, this is not because of the power levels. People think it's because of the power levels, but in reality, what they're seeing is that the show as a whole is inconsistent. And if the story was just ball-lickingly amazing the entire time, no one would be complaining about the fucking power levels. But yeah, in this video, you're not going to see me bitch about the inconsistency that much, because it's on both sides. But even if we completely throw out the inconsistency, right? Like them lifting up the ship and stuff, that was so much less strong than him lifting up that one meteor in the fucking Flaxen episode. So like, even if I throw out the ship thing and just pretend it didn't happen and just look at the, well, not meteor, but big fucking rock he lifts up in the Flaxen episode, it still wouldn't really be anything that any of the DC characters can't do. We see Superman stop a meteor that was heading toward Earth in Superman the Animated Series. While it is true that Omni-Man says that he stopped a meteor that was the size of Texas, we kind of just have to look at this as an exaggeration because we've never seen him do anything.
Yeah, we never see like a flashback.
Point in the series, not even fucking close. You also have to take into account where this information is coming from. It's coming from Omni-Man himself, who for sure did not measure the size of the fucking meteor as it came towards Earth. It's very unlikely that he knew the exact mass of the meteor or the exact mass of the state of Texas to actually make this. Chances are he's just saying it was a really big fucking rock and he just compared it to something else that was really big, like Texas. Now, while it's basically impossible to get a size of the meteor that Superman saved the Earth from, because literally every shot that we see it's a completely different size. At one point, it looks
Yeah,
like
at first
it's the
it
size
looks
of like
like a
small
fucking
building, and
moon.
then another point it's like the size of a continent. And then at another point in the scene, a piece of the meteor chips off and goes towards Earth, and then Supergirl flies into it, and it creates this massive explosion, the shockwave of which covers the entirety of the city of Metropolis. So, I mean, it's big, but we just can't measure it really. But one thing that we can measure, because shockingly, we actually get super accurate numbers of how fast it was going. There's a scientist at the beginning of the episode that just straight up says that the meteor isn't going to come any closer than 2.5 million miles away from Earth. Then, right after Granny Goodness activates her magnet machine that's on Earth, she has this magnet machine, turns it on, it sucks the meteor to Earth, so it's like magnetizing the meteor to Earth. Darkseid says that the meteor is going to be there in under an hour. This means that the fucking thing traveled 2.5 million miles at the absolute least in less than an hour. That's like 0.4% of the speed of light, which doesn't sound like it's that fast, but when it's a fucking country or city-sized meteor coming towards your planet, that's fucking fast. Granny Goodness also says that the meteor enters the atmosphere, which means you can't even argue that when Superman stopped this meteor, he wasn't fighting against gravity while doing it. He very clearly was. Basically, everything about this meteor feat makes it more impressive than even the quote-unquote Texas-sized meteor that Omni-Man saved the Earth from. If you're enjoying the video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment.
Yeah, it's kind of cool when you add a bit of, calculations and a little bit of more realism to make it more cooler, huh?
Comment, share, join the membership, and hype the video. All of these things help the channel reach more people.
Yeah, be sure to do
the
that.
channel grow. I greatly appreciate it. And if you don't do it, you won't be raped by Anissa. That's if you do it, you'll be raped by Anissa.
Jeez.
You know? And if you don't, no raping for you. No, you don't get raped. So there you go. Can you believe there's still YouTubers who think you can't say rape on YouTube?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't get it. So does the
Pussies.
DCAU compare when we actually look at what Viltrumites can do compared to what they can do? And in Invincible, we know Viltrumites can travel at massively faster than light. How massively, it's unclear. It seems to take them a couple of months to go from one planet to another. And the vast majority of the time they use ships. So you would have to come to the assumption that they do that because the ships are faster than they are. In terms of combat speed, they are shown to be significantly slower than massively faster than light. Like way fucking slower. We see them getting hit and struggling to fight certain human characters and get hit by bullets. Lasers hit them. Omni-Man, when he is trying to kill Cecil, is struggling fucking hard to get
for
his
someone
hands
who
on
can
him,
just
despite the
travel
fact that
one
we know
planet
that
to the
Cecil's
other.
teleporter
Can I
is
catch
activated
Cecil?
by a normal dude who presses a button. So a normal dude who is admittedly pressing the fuck out of that button. I mean, that dude deserves a raise. He is capable
I think it's
of reacting
Donald.
to
I'm
Omni-Man's
pretty sure it
basic
is
combat
because that's the only
speeds,
one I can
which
think
I
of.
would argue that there are many characters in the DCAU who Mr. fucking badass button dude would not have been able to react to. We do see him destroy much of the surface of the Flaxen homeworld through sheer speed, as well as destroying Viltrum with the help of two others, again, through speed going through the planet. However, I don't know how impressive this is, as any
Oh
character
no,
that
here we
goes
go
like
again.
speed should be able to do this without any issues. And as I've said in my last Invincible video, the destruction of Viltrum, the way it's animated, does make
it just basically makes you feel. It feels like the gun did most of the work, while the others just feel like they just hit like just crumbs.
Tremendously creates this massive fire explosion and heat buildup, and then the three Viltrumites just kind of pass through it. They don't really seem to be causing most of the destruction. They're more so following the destruction based on what we see. So I don't know how much credit we can give them by doing this. And again, it just seems kind of weird that they animated it this way, because any of the Viltrumites should be able to destroy the planet just by flying at light speed near the planet. So
Yeah, and we never see that. I mean, Nolan could have destroyed the Flaxen planet itself, but we didn't see that. All we saw was him just destroying country after country and then a space station. That's it. He didn't destroy the planet itself. And you think he would have done that, but he didn't, which is, huh.
You didn't have to go through all this convoluted animation that doesn't really make sense, or you can't really tell what's happening. I mean, it takes them like 3.5 minutes to get through the planet with all this animation. We know they can fly fast enough that it wouldn't take them 3.5 minutes to get through the planet. They can just boosh and then bam and explode it. By trying to make this look epic and having all this stuff, I just don't think this scene makes sense. I don't know what they're doing here, and I don't think there's any way to know what they're doing here. I explain in more detail why it doesn't make sense in this video.
Oh, yeah.
I actually break it down frame by frame and show like this shit doesn't make sense. So go there if you want to fucking argue with me about that. But overall, what we have here,
I'm just the messenger. I'm just seeing what I'm seeing, okay?
Considerably slower combat speeds, oftentimes seeming slower than even sound, based on some of the shit that we've seen. Physically strong enough to, at absolute max, hold up small countries, but likely considerably less than this, as we haven't seen them come close to this in actual physical strength in the show. This is just based on a statement that they made. So how do these powers compare to the heroes of the DCAU
Nothing?
universe? They do not.
Yeah.
Omni-Man gonna get fucked up. This is gonna be bad. It's gonna be so bad. There are many, 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 many characters in the DCAU that are massively faster than light.
Yeah, I think a perfect example will be an episode where Justice League versus the Justice League of Doom, where Sinestro, tell the Flash, my ring hits faster than light speed, so I can hit you. Not faster than like he can hit by my ring can hit in light speed, so it's fast as light. And since you are fast as light, I could hit you, which the Flash said, well, yeah, but you don't think as fast as light speed, and he just whooped his ass. And that will be an issue because we have seen several times a character in Invincible that cannot think fast as light itself. I mean, we've seen Viltrums, get hit without, having a better reaction speed, like a fast reaction speed. We just see them just get hit.
Are tons of characters easily capable of matching speeds with Omni-Man. However, they also have ridiculously fast combat speeds, and we see this
that
at
too.
many, many, many points. Like, for instance, at one point, Wonder Woman went back in time.
And not just speed, but also have a better understanding on what the moves we could use, like because in the previous video, he explained how the Viltrums suck ass at fighting. Like they're not these OP UFC fighters. They only know is to chop, punch, kick, block. That's it. But in the DCAU, they know how to use any type of, martial arts. They know how to, read opponent's body. They know how to, what would be the best counter for a move that that one of their opponents are gonna throw out. They know everything. They know everything about that. And that's what the issue is gonna be with, with the Viltrumites, because they just don't never have one, actual training, actual like martial arts, which I really hate that every Superman wannabe fucking evil versions like Homelander and Omni-Man doesn't have no like martial arts, which really sucks. Because it will be so cool to have a character who knows how to, whoop some ass. But yeah.
West, and a bunch of dudes in the Wild West were shooting guns at her, and she was deflecting the bullets. She directly states that they were the biggest, slowest
I remember this
she
one.
had ever seen in her life. Now, normally, if I say someone deflects bullets or whatever, they might not necessarily be reacting to the bullets. They are most likely reacting to the person firing the bullets, meaning all they have to do is follow the trajectory.
Yeah.
But the fact that she specifically states they are the biggest, slowest bullets she's ever had to deflect means she is seeing them fly through the air. Just to be clear with you, the vast, vast, vast majority of guns in the 1800s still fired at faster than sound. Yes, some of them got as slow as like 600 miles per hour, which is slower than sound. But the vast majority of them were over that, up to around 8, 9, 1,000 miles per hour. All of that beats sound. And she's capable of seeing them fly through the air in such clarity that she can actually see the size of the fucking bullet. Wonder Woman in the DCAU is not considered a speedster. Her speed is no
No,
faster
he
than
is not.
characters
She
like
is
Martian
not.
Manhunter or Hawkgirl or any of the other characters on the team. She's nowhere near as fast as characters like Superman or the Flash. Not even close. There is zero evidence in Invincible that
But she has
Omni-Man or
fast
any other
reaction
Viltrumite
skills.
can
That would
literally
make it
see
like
bullets
very
traveling in
dangerous.
slow motion. They're never shown to have those levels of speed. Travel speed, sure. Yeah, 100%. Combat speed, reaction speeds, eye following through the
Nope. There is several occasions where their reaction speeds suck ass. Anissa got socked in the face and blood started to pour out of her face. And she barely realized it. Like, she took like a few seconds to notice that her blood was, she was having a nosebleed. Mock, oh my god, this guy cannot react to shit. Like, there has been several occasions where his reaction speed was lacking. Conquest reaction speed was lacking. Like, there's just so many characters that just are ass at, reacting to certain shit. Like, it's so weird, but it's just, like, you gotta tell me that you have the fast ass, like, like the fastest speed of all time, but you cannot react to that fast. Jeez, dude. This is how you know you are relying on your body than your mind, and that is a very dangerous play.
air bullshit speed? No, never. Not at any point. And let me remind you, Wonder Woman was talking about these projectiles being the slowest she's ever had to deal with. We've seen her deflect lasers. We've seen
Oh
other
yeah,
characters
in the
deflect
highlight.
lasers and react to lasers and fuck with lasers very easily, very casually, hitting them in the air as they are flying. Having a near light speed reaction speed is not that uncommon. Flash is directly stated to casually think at the speed of light and travel at the speed of light all the time. However, he is capable of traveling significantly faster than this, as shown when he nearly breaks fucking reality in that whole episode where he fights like Brainiac. Like, so that's a whole thing. He doesn't normally do that. But hitting light speed is something he just does casually all the time. Again, not something that can be said for the Viltrumites in terms of combat speed. The characters in the DCAU are significantly faster in terms of combat speed. What about actual physical damage? What they're capable of dishing out, their power, they're just gonna fucking punch the shit out of you.
Oh yes.
That kind of shit, right? Also very impressive. I already talked about how Superman was capable of stopping a meteor that had already hit the atmosphere, and that's important because when the meteor hits the atmosphere, it's gonna have a lot more gravity than a meteor that's way farther away, which the meteor that we see Invincible deal with wasn't in the atmosphere yet. In fact, it appeared to be weightless as he just kind of threw it away from Earth and it drifted away from the planet.
It had
Does
to be
this make
hollow.
sense on a physics level? No, it should have been picked up by Earth's gravity.
Yeah.
But that's how it was shown in the thing. He literally just like tosses it and it drifts away. He doesn't chuck it. It's very clearly not gravity that's fighting him. So there's no gravity here. He just fucking chucks a weightless rock away. When Superman stops his meteor, he's very clearly fighting against the force of gravity, which means this should just be a much, much heavier meteor. But even if we go like way less than Superman, like for instance, his cousin Kara, at one point she clashed with Amazo.
Oh, this
and
one,
the clash
yeah.
was so powerful that it cleared all the fucking clouds out of the sky over a city. This did
That was
knock her out.
atomic
She
bomb.
plummeted down to Earth, but she was half of the reason why this clash happened, and she did survive getting hit by it. It was a very powerful hit. Not only that, but Kara is considered very green and not that skilled of a hero, but she also single-handedly takes on the entire legion of heroes. They were mind-controlled, but she takes on all of them and beats them all, not that much difficulty.
Look at
pretty
that.
easy. And she's so weak that John Stewart Green Lantern takes her out in one hit in the same episode where she takes out the entire legion of heroes at the same time. It was like a 1v20 fight. And then John Stewart shows up, shows her how it's done, and fucking knocks her ass out in a single
Oh, he
attack.
was
John
mind
Stewart is
controlled,
so
but
powerful
still,
in
that
the
is
fact when
just
he was on a
yeah,
team
crazy.
with Captain Atom and Supergirl. Captain Atom is a dude who is literally just a living nuclear weapon. At one point, he gets his costume cut because he's just living energy that lives inside of a radiation suit. He has to fly up into space, and then he explodes, which, by the way, only takes like a second or two to do. Goes all the way up in space, and then a massive nuclear explosion happens in space. We don't know how big it is. It's way too... There's just no way to calculate this. But it's a fucking nuclear explosion.
Yeah, and the fact that he had to go to space itself to like release it is crazy.
When John is on that team, he is called the Big Gun. They considered him the most powerful character on that team when he is on a team with a dude who is literally a nuke. He's just a fucking living nuke. But to narrow it down a little bit better, in one episode, Amazo comes back to Earth to do some stuff They think he's there to fuck shit up, but he's not. Anyway, all these different characters try and stop him. No one can stop him, right? Amazel's like this god-level being. At one point, he makes the planets of Oa disappear out of our reality and appear in a totally different reality. He's a very powerful dude. The Green Lanterns, thinking that Oa was destroyed, want revenge, so they go to kill him. 14 Lanterns track down Amazel with the intentions of killing him, and it is directly stated that if these 14 Lanterns use their power on him at the same time, it will destroy half of the planet. It will blow up half of the fucking planet of Earth. So, believe it or not, I decided to do some math. That's right. Some fucking nerd shit. Because this entire video hasn't been enough of nerd shit. Nope, doing some math, that's where the nerd shit comes from. That is how that works. If a lantern was capable of doing 1/28th the necessary destruction of destroying a planet, that would mean each individual lantern would be capable of doing 2 zettatons of TNT, which if you hold any value in versus Battle Wiki, which I don't know why you still...
Let's see how many zeros are there. We got 3, 6, 9, and 13. Then we got 16, 19, 23 zeros. God damn.
Would at this point, that would be small planet level. You're probably thinking that it's weird that would be small planet, because 1/28th of Earth, that doesn't sound like it's small planet, but this is mainly because, like, in order to destroy a planet, you can't just blow up a section of it, because gravity won't let that section of the planet leave it. It'll still be there. If you're going to blow up a planet and actually blow it to pieces, you have to fight back against the gravity, which greatly increases the amount of destructive force that you would need. If they were capable of actually blowing up half the fucking planet and literally blowing it to pieces, which is how it's talked about in the episode, that means they would each have to be doing this amount of force. However, this is probably a high ball for most of the Green Lanterns and a low ball for John Stewart, who is considered one of, if not the most powerful Green Lantern in the entire series. So his are probably much, much higher than that. This is more destructive power than we've seen any Viltrumite do in the entire series through just sheer physical force.
Yeah.
And an important thing to note is that Green Lantern is not the strongest character in the Justice League. He's not even like top 3 or 4. You still have fucking Superman. So, do I think that if Omni-Man ended up turning,
I feel like Superman's gonna make Thrag wish that he ever had mercy.
More intelligent in the DCAU than anyone in Invincible, that are gonna figure out he's doing some fucked up shit long before they were capable of it. And if he does actually turn on any of them, there are many of them that could just straight up beat his ass in a 1v1 fight. In 2019, they came out with another Justice League movie that was canonical to the original series, and it was called Justice League versus the Fatal Five. And in that film, there's a scene where this chick absorbs all of the energy out of Oa and adds it to this weird eyeball thing. She's like the Empress of whatever, it doesn't matter. She sends it at the sun to destroy the sun. She specifically states it's going to take 3 minutes for the eye to get to the sun, and once it does, it's going to release its energy within the sun. The sun is going to blow up, and then that's going to just destroy all of Earth. This is what she wants. Superman is tied up and being fucked up by this kryptonite energy shit while this is going on. It's almost 3 minutes that he's just tied up here while this eye is traveling to the sun. Once he's finally freed, the first thing he does is chase after it, and he almost fucking catches up and catches it. He's mere inches away before it actually goes into the sun. It does this big energy blast thing that pushes Superman away from the sun. Now, a lot of people say that this is like him surviving an exploding sun, but he clearly did not. It's just an energy pulse. I'm sure he took quite a hit here, but saying it's the same as an exploding sun isn't true. The sun clearly did not explode from this pulse. This was just the energy that basically allowed the energy to be released within the sun that then
which is still impressive. After all, that's all the energy from Oa, basically the home world of the Green Lanterns.
It was a very big pulse. The pulse was bigger than the sun, and it did push him away. It was pretty impressive. I actually think the most impressive thing about this scene isn't Superman, it's fucking Starboy, because it works. Like, the eye goes in the sun, it destroys the sun's breaking apart, and Starboy, because he has power over mass, throws himself into the center of the sun and increases his mass to such a degree that he causes his own gravitational pull that holds the fucking sun together. He's just a normal sized dude who increases his mass to enough degree to
damn,
hold
I should watch that
together.
movie.
Guys, a star. It's thousands of times the size of a planet. It's huge. That's way more impressive than getting hit by a fucking pulse and bouncing off the sun. This is way more impressive. I can't really talk about him because Starboy isn't a part of Justice League. He's not on Earth. He's from the future. He's a member of the Legion of Heroes, who was also one of the people who Supergirl beat the fuck out of.
Oh,
she took on
shit.
the entire Legion by herself. So she took on this dude as well, beat his ass. That's really the impressive part. Point is, there are enough characters here within the Justice League League that are strong enough to take on fucking Viltrumites. There's a
Yeah.
lot. I'm not saying it's all of them. I'm not saying that if you took all of the 50 Viltrumites and you...
Well, here's the other thing that you need to consider. The one thing that the Viltrumites are gonna like very, very like fail, like the major thing, will be teamwork. Viltrumites, they do not like each other. They don't appreciate each other. They don't show respect to each other. They don't even like see each other as like like caring. They see each other as nothing but weapons. Now, there are some scenes where they have worked together, yes, but most of the time it isn't for like love or passion or ain't that goody two shoes. It's just for the delusional vision of for the empire. I mean, my God, is nothing like okay. I want to give you an example. So we know in the flashback of Nolan, he did not have the nicest parents, nor the goodest mom ever. I mean, she beat the living shit out of him. Like, their culture is just so awful. They don't see emotions as a sign of strength. They saw it as weakness. And we have the Justice League, who in one episode they were, their feelings were getting the better of them because of, Grog. If you don't know, Grog is a talking gorilla who has the ability to not only mind control but also affect your emotions. He affected the emotions of the Justice League, and it causes them to just spill the beans on their opinions with each other. And at the end of the show, they realized, well, we just had to accept what we said and move on. That's some good shit. I mean, if they have that much of a level of trust and willingness to move on of the awful shit, then they will beat him. They will beat the Viltrumites because the Viltrumites do not see each other as people. They just see as like just an obstacle, if that makes any sense. And that would be the big thing. What I could think of is that the Green Lanterns will, form the entire superhero on who the fuck these Viltrumites are. And so they're gonna devise a plan. They're gonna make a plan. Okay, here we're gonna gather our heaviest hitters because since they want to challenge the strongest, and we're gonna, just full on, 1v1 these guys. And as that happens, we're gonna use our support team to sort of surround them and use the weaknesses against Viltrumites. And since they captured Nolan, they could tell which is the weakness or not. Because John Stewart can just go inside Nolan's head and tell him, okay, he does not like heat, electricity, noise, basically shit like that. And so they're gonna gather some devices, equipment that gives them the advantage to produce those types of powers. And so they're gonna, it's hard to, double team them and, tag team them, shit like that. They have each other's back. And that's how they gonna beat them because Viltrumites do have a teamwork, but they don't know each other very well enough. They only see each other as nothing but just animals. I mean, Conquest had a vulnerable side, but because of his reputation, no one liked him because he just never was, cared or never asked, hey, is everything okay? No, they all have insecurity. Each and one of these Viltrumites have insecurities. And that's gonna be the biggest weakness of them. It's that, they're not the best at teamwork, truly teamwork. They're not that good.
Put them up against the several hundred heroes that most of those heroes wouldn't die. I think a lot of them would, because a lot of them are also just street level dudes. Fucking
Yes.
Green Arrow is on that
Yes,
team.
some of them
there
are.
There is enough of them, like a solid couple dozen that are significantly faster, significantly stronger than any Viltrumite. They are way more.
Black Canary
fucking close.
will be excellent against the Viltrumites because of the sound.
And honestly, I can make this video 2 or 3 times as long, just going over detail of all of the different characters in the Justice League that could, what about Hawkgirl? Hawkgirl's mace is fucking broken.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Her
mace is insane.
It's anti-magic and anti-physics.
I've learned the hard way. way that the energy dampening properties of this device can disrupt fundamental forces.
She once used it to deflect a laser that was going towards a planet that was a planet-destroying weapon, and she smacked it and bounced it back. She once destroyed a magical barrier that separated a pocket dimension from our dimension. She used it to kill the god of her own people. And absolutely most impressive, she used it to kill Grundy. How are you gonna fucking do that to Grundy? Yes, Grundy was one of my favorite characters when I was growing up watching the show. I'm not fucking
Paul
biased.
Grundy,
I'm not
rest in
biased.
peace,
Okay,
man.
I'm half biased, but it's still impressive because Grundy comes back. He dies the first time, and then he comes back to life, and he is killed by Hawkgirl. This is impressive because Amazo shows up to fuck up Grundy, and when Amazo tries to fuck up Grundy, he can't, and Grundy absorbs all of the energy that he tries to do. Amazo then leaves. Amazo, the god-level being who is directly stated to be able to destroy the entire universe, he just fucks off and leaves because he says, if I stay here, Grundy will just become stronger and stronger every moment I'm here. He'll just keep absorbing all my power, and it'll be impossible to stop him. So he leaves. That guy, that universe-level god,
The guy who
couldn't
soloed
kill
the
Grundy,
entire
but
superhero
fucking
cast
Hawkgirl could with
just
her mace.
left.
That mace is no fucking joke. Even if you want to argue that she's not as skilled of a fighter, she's weaker, she's whatever, that mace is going to kill Viltrumites if she hits them with it.
Oh,
The
yeah.
mace is crazy powerful.
Yes, which is insane because they needed in the episode when they were going to war against all the Viltrumites, they needed some weapons that go past through their high level defenses. I mean, we got the Universe Ray from Space Racer who can basically go through anything, and then we have this like some sort of chemical from these bugs. Once ejected to a Viltrumite, their defenses are weak as shit, and Alec can just easily just punch through them like they're nothing but paper mache. That is crazy, and that fucking mace can just one shot them like nothing. Hell, I could just imagine Hawkgirl just get a triple kill.
People do not give that mace enough credit. Now, I know a lot of people are going to go down in the comments and be like, well, what about Amazo or Dr. Fate or any of these other, like, ridiculously powerful characters? They're on Earth, like, they are still on Earth by the end of the series. That's true, but they don't do anything. Dr. Fate only does things when it comes to interdimensional issues. He doesn't get involved with planet invasion shit, and Amazo also doesn't care about anything. He doesn't care about invasion shit or interdimensional shit. The only reason why he helps with the Grundy thing or attempts to help with the Grundy thing is because Dr. Fate felt responsible for the Grundy thing, and Dr. Fate was helping Amazo, so kind of he like volunteered to do that. But at the end of Justice League Unlimited, the entire planet was being invaded by Darkseid, and Amazo and Dr. Fate didn't do shit.
They didn't do nothing.
It's not a part of their job to protect the planet. So they wouldn't show up for a Viltrumite invasion. But it really doesn't matter. They're not going to be necessary here. As I've already gone over, there are plenty of characters here that will be able to kill Viltrumites just fine. Many of them will be able to kill many, many, many Viltrumites. Some people might want me to go over Thrag, but as of right now, we don't have a lot on Thrag, as powerful as he is in the show. We know he's stronger in the show than he was in the comic. That's for sure. That's fucking clear as day. Just eating that shit when he's fighting Mark in the show. In the comic, Mark was actually able to kind of fuck him up and cause his nose to bleed and shit. He's much more powerful. But to what degree above Omni-Man, we don't really know. And is it so far above Omni-Man and all of these other Viltrumites that it starts to reach DCAU territories where you literally have planet-destroying shit? I haven't even gone over Cadmus. Cadmus is fucking broken in this series.
Cadmus.
Amanda Waller in the DCAU is like Cecil, but really good at her job.
Yeah, he's basically doing a good shit.
Conquest pseudo corpse, and then tries to make a version of it so that when he heals, he can ask him questions. I guess that's what he says. I don't know what questions he would fucking ask that would be useful to them. Like, what is Conquest going to tell him, and how would he even know that Conquest is telling the truth on anything that he says because he can't confirm any of the.
Wait, and here's the crazy thing: like, could Mark tell Alan that, hey, we need some information about the Viltrumite? You think you can share some of the, details that Viltrumites or what our Viltrumites are to Cecil so that he could get a better plan? Because Alan had visited the planet twice in the fucking show, and not once Mark thought of, okay, since he's here, want to warn us about the Viltrumites, why don't we take him to Cecil and give him the whole benefit of how, Viltrumites, act, how powerful they are, you know, all that shit. But no, we never did that. All we got is just Cecil thinking that he could hold down Conquest, the motherfucking Conquest, who made Mark his bitch, and he thought he could just hold him by just an endless block of steel, not endless, but just a block of steel.
It was a dumb idea. That's another thing I don't like about Invincible. Cecil has gotten dumber in every fucking season. It's so stupid. The Doomsday storyline in Justice League is a very similar storyline to the Conquest
Yeah,
one.
but
In
it's
both
a
cases,
different
Doomsday
scenario.
and Conquest show up and get into a fight with the hero of the planet, Superman and Invincible. Superman and Invincible overcome these people with great difficulty, and Amanda Waller / Cecil captures Doomsday / Conquest. The difference is that unlike Cecil, who's a dumbass, Amanda Waller actually knows how to properly store the creature so that it doesn't escape, and then once it does eventually escape, it's not by her own incompetence, it's because a disgruntled employee who had the codes to allow it to escape did it and stupidly killed himself. Amanda Waller was not the one who was dumb, and once Doomsday got out and about and was gonna, fuck shit up, Cadmus actually had the means on Earth to stop Doomsday, which again was not the case for Conquest. Cecil just captured Conquest, threw him in a cage,
Which is weird. You would think that Cecil would have used any of the same methods that he used against, Invincible. Like, why couldn't he use, the fucking the like add that fucking, what's that called, the damn shit that he put inside of Invincible's brain to add to frequency, that fucking ear-piercing bullshit. Like, why he could have done that? Oh, matter of fact, why he never, like, once he like awake and once he like move, that shit activates it instantaneously. Like, why did he not do that? Like, why did you just put him in a fucking metal box?
And hoped he didn't escape, but if he did escape, Cecil knew that there was nothing on Earth that could possibly stop him. He had absolutely no backup plan and just hoped that shit was gonna work out. And the reason he did it was stupid, so that he could ask questions he had no way of knowing he could ever get the answers
I mean,
to.
what did Conquest even, like, answer Cecil's questions?
Like, they knew everything they needed to know about it, and it was supposed to be a weapon against Superman, and it was an effective weapon against Superman. Everything about this makes Cecil look a dumbass and Amanda Waller look like a fucking genius by comparison. We also know that Cadmus has cloning technology where they'll clone certain superheroes with different types of powers to fight against their opponents, and they're good at it, and these heroes are really fucking powerful. They also make crazy powerful bullshit sci-fi weapons. They made this ray gun shit that they fire at Bizarro, and in one shot it knocks Bizarro out, and then they were going to shoot it a second time, and they just directly state that another shot to Bizarro would have turned him into ash, and they have that level of technology. I'm not going to say Bizarro is Superman strong, but he's fucking close. They have similar technology to this, even more powerful technology to this, that they strap to fucking tanks. And these tanks shoot out this big ass yellow beam that can restrain basically any hero in the series. And if it can do that, it can restrain fucking Viltrumites. The prisons that Cadmus makes can actually hold the superheroes.
Dude, they have listened to the song Be Prepared a lot.
Cecil cannot make a prison that can hold a Viltrumite. The DCAU is just more powerful than the Invincible universe in like every conceivable way that I can think of. Actually, that would be, I just kind of ruined the idea, but it would actually be kind of a cool video idea to put like Amanda Waller and Cecil's and be like, which one would rule better over their like planetary defense systems. That kind of could be a cool conversation. I think I just kind of spoiled it because obviously Amanda Waller, like fucking clearly Amanda Waller is better at it. Yeah, anyway, let's get to the fucking end of the video. I don't think they're gonna win. I think best case scenario, maybe Thrag keeps his power up and we get more impressive stuff from Thrag in the future. It might change my mind. But as of right now, I just don't see anything that the Viltrumites have done in the show, or comic for that matter, that tells me that they're more powerful than the fucking DCAU characters. Not that I should even really pull from the comics for Invincible for this one, because the DCAU also has comics, and if we start pulling from there, you're getting like multiversal shit, and even Superman can like blow up solar systems and shit. So it's a totally different level. I usually don't even talk about it when I talk about the DCAU. I don't consider it a part of the same canon because it's just so far beyond what the show shows these characters are capable of. So it really doesn't matter either way. If you take the Viltrumites from the show or the comics and you put them against the DCAU,
basically
the comics, the DCAU is gonna do fine fighting against them. I don't think that Omni-Man is going
to
be
a pretty cool animated
He's not going to be able to create a child. He's going to be found out way too soon. He's not going to be able to weaken the planet. And once he inevitably fails, then the planet will be prepared for a full-on invasion if they even decide to do a full-on invasion, because they're not aware that they can make kids there. But even if they do go forward the full invasion, 50 Viltrumites just isn't enough. There there are arguably just as many heroes on DCAU's Earth that could fight against them, and that's not including villains. Again, I'm not gonna fucking double the length of this video, but in the last episode, Justice League Unlimited, when Darkseid invades the world, villains rise up to help the
This
heroes.
is a fucking
because
awesome
from a villain's
scene.
perspective, it's their planet too, and they don't want it to get fucking ruled over by aliens. Everyone from Lex Luthor to Giganta's sexy ass all rise up to help the heroes. So you're then fucking doubling the amount of people the Viltrumites have to face off against, and they're gonna lose. But that's all I have for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, join the membership, and hype the video. All these things help the channel reach more people, and I would greatly
I'll be sure to do that.
And always remember, y'all stay safe out there. You hear?
Thank you. Oh, dude, that was pretty good. Yeah, I 100% would believe that they will have like being very prepared of the invasion, not only to handle Omni-Man, but also to be ready for the invasion, because there's just so many defenses. There's so many defenses, and not to mention the heroes are like they could like literally take over the entire planet, but they can't because it will be literally Armageddon if they try anything like that. And plus, they are willing to like work together, like actual work together. Let's just hey, our like shit that we have been doing to each other. How would let's just put that aside and fucking whoop those goddamn alien motherfuckers out of this goddamn Earth? How about that, huh? And that's the one major thing that the Viltrumites will not be able to do. Even though they were working together, they don't work. They don't like know each other very well. They don't like respect each other. Like they only respect to their strength. They don't respect to their weaknesses. They don't do like emotional connections. They don't do none of that. And that is what they're gonna be done for. And plus, I feel like they're all gonna be captured. I don't think they're gonna kill them. Maybe few will be able to kill them. I think Thrag will be killed because he's this like fucking crazy lunatic who thought that the Viltrum Empire can be revived. Which maybe not. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's very cool. Well, that'll be all. Thank you so much for watching this. I will leave a link in the original video in the description below. And just like Rouga, be safe, and I'll catch you on the next one.